Majesty, Your Royal Highness, good morning or afternoon. I'm Louise Shuhameni from Namibia. Our first purpose is to really learn to share experiences, build relationships as Africans that share the same ancestors. Our second purpose of visit is to learn from your kingdom how you are managing the relationship between the government and the traditional authority. Because government and the traditional authority are key partners in development of our people. So from your kingdom, how is the relationship between the government and the traditional authority in terms of issues of governance, of land, and especially if the traditional authority is falling or the kingdom is falling within cities or municipalities. What is the relationship? Thirdly, as our ancestors and our forefathers started fighting to say Africa must benefit from its own natural resources, and a lot of our African leaders died to protect our natural resources. We want to learn from your experiences in terms of what is the beneficiation strategy. Because if Africa is to benefit from its own mineral and natural resources, it has to start with traditional leaders. It has to start with traditional communities. What is the beneficiation strategy that you are able to share with us, and we can also able to share with you from our country in terms of how we can enhance and accelerate maximum beneficiations of our people for their natural resources, so that in our generation, in our leaders' generation, we can see our people getting uplifted from poverty. And lastly, as I have explained earlier, in Namibia, the 54 traditional leaders came together and say, together we are strong. Let's create a business investment company for where traditional authority can also directly do business and engage with investors and ensure that their people benefit. So we also want to hear and to learn from experiences on how we can do business together, or on how your traditional authority, your kingdom, is engaging into businesses. Thank you, Your Majesty.
Together with Nime and Name gathered hearing and staff of the Ghana Manche Secretariat together with the Ghana Traditional Council. We have observed from your commentary that you are here for a purpose, and more or less it's going to be like an exchange program, which we believe we can establish fully. Probably once a year you come here, or we come to Namibia, we fraternize and share ideas. It is true, we all come from the same place, but over the years things have changed and we have had different countries and different jurisdictions, but our culture remains the same. In every part of Africa, notwithstanding the language they speak and the name of the country, there is still tradition. And we are happy to have you in our midst in the palace of the Ghana Manche. You spoke about governmental involvement with chieftaincy. I don't know what pertains in your area, but over here we have a situation where there's a law which has been passed, which is known as the Chieftaincy Act. It has been in existence since 1971, till over the years there were effective amendments, which means that our rules and regulations and our legislation recognizes the role of chiefs. And the Constitution also protects the interests of chiefs to the extent that there are eminent chiefs who are serving on several governmental institutions like the Council of State and other organizations, which tells you the very significant and important role being played by our chiefs. In your lady's commentary, she made mention of the role of chiefs in investment. I think that's quite a laudable idea to hear from the Namibia delegation, because presently His Royal Majesty is about to establish an investment desk. It hasn't been done officially, but He's spoken about it and is getting the right people at the right places to take over some of these activities. The fact that we are chiefs does not mean that we have no iota of idea of business. We are even better businessmen than the so-called people who call themselves business people, because we'll do it with dignity, with the requisite persons to be at the helm of affairs. It's quite interesting to hear that you officially have an investment desk. That is very, very laudable. You also spoke about management of natural resources and the role of chiefs. I think that Ghana has taken a very bold step, particularly those interested in mining areas. You cannot easily get a mining license without going to the traditional authorities, even though the minerals by law underneath the earth is held in trust by the President of the Republic of Ghana for and on behalf of the people. The first point of contact must be an acceptance by the traditional authorities to give you the permission to mine on their land. Then you follow other activities like the Municipal Assembly, the Minerals Commission, and so on and so forth. So chiefs are recognized. We have holdings in the nature of stool lands. I know your history is quite different because of the kind of colonialism that you went through, the period and struggle for independence. But over here, stools have lands. Government may have acquired some of the lands compulsorily in the interest of the public and for public use. But compensation are always paid to beneficiary stools and beneficiary families. We cannot use this forum as a base of lecturing you on the entirety of some of the comments you made in your opening speech. But as we foster relationship over the years to come, we'll learn more from each other in the nature of collaborative exchange programs. So once again, His Majesty the King of the Ghas welcomes you to the city of Accra. Thank you very much.
I
listened very attentively to the presentation that was made by the leader here.
Siradi Aromas Nevada Tribaske, I think Wamikimi, Tani Hoguga, Matsausita, Jaituka, I think that Jaitus a Doga.
As I heard from this side, our vision is to find ways how we can serve our communities.
Marie Ting, we hear the one of us again, I said, Jaitua.
Without money and resources, we cannot uplift the standard of our communities.
How Nabe Jaitua, a great dancer, said Hanuba, who are the Kakisa, traditional area.
I have also noticed that the comment was made that the government can only make some decisions with the approval of the traditional leader at which the resources like mining resources are found.
And communal land
in communal lands.
Kaisa kan husken ngadira disa tidak kira ngam atau government ini hau ngabe tajwe de Johnson hase tuwi hueni disa kara iyo o ira ngaba kurang wakan uiba hau ngabe tajwe suabra iyo mato biya torai kaki.
I just want to learn and understand if government has to get permission from the chief of the area, how the beneficiation of that community is distributed towards that specific communities.
Agreement sa kura government ting hau ngabe tajwe kuting agora huakuye ngaba kurang wakan uip ngasisan uip tausa.
Is the formal agreement system through which government and the traditional leaders sharing the resources?
Neda goneban how the game how nabe tajwa sukun how government neban mai che traditional leaders like one how chirage da tomta ning was nesni traditional leadership ay kau kama seguinya kisa idada sarati government gadani clan as
we are here gathering as traditional authorities, and I am believing that our exchange and discussions are in such a nature that we don't discredit governments in a way that may not be fine. So our discussion should be related to traditional authorities.
Tikas nevan nuas ko ang huwag tawag tuge ko ang business army ngabat tike traditional leader de Namibia nga uwa. Si business army Namibia nga ke traditional leader ke eitsma ang ui tawbiha. Habe nga ko eiska kung si ke Namibia di government fishing quota sa ke mala.
So as it was mentioned here, we have as a traditional authority, we have a business arm which we are managing from the traditional authorities. But the government, the national government, allocated what we call in Namibia fishing quota. It's an amount of fish that you have the right to source from the ocean. That right is given to the traditional authorities, and on that basis, a business company is formed.
Na business companies are ke onani stike ajai ठीक establish kharaga kwen ngaban nuchi sida di administrasis karasi se horaga traditional nuchira sisen so ose.
So we have established that company which we call Onani, which is now managed by skillful people that are employed by Onani to manage on behalf of the traditional authorities.
Na company sa huge ke how ngabe tai tu onara wi before medicine funds the federal kavan tingadi khuna de gen waga traditional leader ka na company sa hura wi to kap uman hanuba tho wi ha se itan hanuba hora ka hunani di se hanubara wi se ngari company sa uwa.
So from this company we are supporting traditional authorities like funerals, medical aid, and also embark upon community developmental projects as it was introduced, which is then coordinated from the Onani office to support the community's work, developmental activities and programs.
Ni hukumna chan mau chiran no Ministry of Traditional Leaders Affairs ti ngan ke tuing ngasnan hanupta asisen arit makwena indi ye pacha cha uating instara sisen traditional authority di china da girang mang uragia neda maran huao sadu chinan hanuptara sisen are traditional authority stara maran huas of on afanglega absolute hanupta kadran hua kristina.
In some countries, I understand that there are like budget allocations from government to support the traditional authorities. I don't know how it is around here.
Habeda kira tom how ngabe kasap ko ami kimin how ngabe siske kese toi gurina causa ho komaka hanui chin khas mibait mase sida nga penekan aguru tasa huige how ngabe tai twistie Chikurina Konghai, Sida again, how Nabe go in Taiku, as a regular.
And as I listened attentively, traditional authorities are coming over centuries. Governments come and go, but the tradition stays. And that is our understanding why we are exchanging with traditional authorities to understand how we can empower our communities.
Sitagin naskara kom how nabe tai tui owning how nabe ice than in the me tuikani season kesa tira domti doms nas tina traditional court ku ke ha tatidani ingungani karakuga che magistrat court ku maga ko to regasa kuni mawa ki
Therefore, I believe that in our traditional community, we need to establish like community courts where we are serving the community by hearing out issues in our community based on our traditions and move away from the court systems that is not aligned with our cultural ways of looking at issues which developed within our communities. We must more focus on our courts, traditional courts that are dealing with issues on a traditional way instead of the modern magistrate system that we have.
Court ko यहाँ को judge को here traditional authority ना खारा बारा तीको माको के खारा का को हुआ हो हाथा स्ना को नया सिला दिन हुकुना चाका चिंग हाउ नाबे तोरा कां तेरा ती dispute तेरा traditional आई कोरा हां अभी चिंग इन करा खारा ना को ना अबे customary law बा उहाँ काउसी को ना चिंग इन दे for our खान के मैं चाहे तो इसना वाना केरा judge का सुबह से उहाँ स्ना रही customary law का next से दूसरे.
In short, I will add by saying that our traditional leaders, our kings, are following their forefathers. It's not like elected leaders. They are coming from the royal families. Those on and on. But when we have these modern courts, sometimes they judge that a king that is set by royal blood should be removed through a democratic process where people vote for that, and that is not what we can promote as traditional communities.
Tora ko daran ande huya da ke garuda ta okuna no amja kuna ni bua mi da ke ebe kan garse ni.
Yeah, we will talk more in the process, so I can stop here and say thank you.
Ago ni meke na me ago cheme ke ni me mena fe gan fe ke dang be bidron min choy be ne no kem fla sitamo wo ma kusun agency mene ni koko ni wo bo ma jakule ka gbene ma blue fe ji ye kwa ni ya wo mlai ni woto ye wo ma dumo kusune na kusune hia ni obanina oba kwenu wo ke no achuni ni opa no se biko inkeneke sumone no inkpe wanyeme ni je mancheme ni je Namibia imene ambashe wadabo amine amembi manye amembi shinamakpa amembi ameke wote shitamo asuito ke ajinato ni wokwe boni wo manjie oni yo Namibia ka gbene hu e Ghana ba ya no boni Ghana state ka be ba chaya ni wo fana ni kome ni wa botelele kome mi wo ka she ni wo ta wo wa she ne I take this opportunity to welcome you to this palace. This palace is a source of Ghana tradition and custom. You're welcome, and it's rather unfortunate that we couldn't have any pomp and pageantry because we are still today, from this day, have effected the ban on drum and noise making. We have heard you that the case before us is a matter of collaboration, getting to know each other better. then also transfer of our culture, our norms, our usage of these norms, our history and tradition. I think that there's a lot that we can both learn from each other's culture and ancestry, and also from our heritage. So you are welcome to this table of men. What I want to say today is that we may not be able to discuss everything today, but in the Ghana state and in Ghana, like I heard you say about the courts, the regular courts juxtaposing the traditional courts. And in Ghana, we've been able to establish the National House of Chiefs, which is the apex court for all judicial decisions regarding the tradition, regarding chieftain, and also some parts of land, in terms of its appropriate measures that may be accepted. But more importantly, the regular courts do not have jurisdiction over a cause or matter affecting chieftaincy in Ghana. So if there is a chieftaincy matter, if the chief is found capable of being in contempt, or all those procedures cannot be addressed at the regular court. It has to be addressed at the traditional council's level. And the appellate court becomes the regional House of Chiefs, and then it could be sent to the National House of Chiefs, then to the Supreme Court for its supervisory jurisdiction. So no chieftaincy decision could be addressed out of the traditional courts. It only takes the traditional courts to address, or the judicial committees of the traditional courts to address a matter or cause affecting chieftaincy. And I think that these are things that we could also learn. Recently, a new Land Act has been accepted by Parliament and is enforced. And this Land Act is one of the documents that we'll present to you one of these days, so that you also study as a case and also compare it with all the land laws that you would have in Namibia. And I think that learning from this here and there, I heard the council of the traditional council also state that it would be good for us to have a transfer of also have some of our people come to learn from Namibia. And also you bring people from Namibia, like you have done today, to come and learn from our culture, our tradition, and how we've been able to work hand in hand and cooperate with government, as traditional authority, especially with the capital. But you know that anytime there is a government situation or regular government situation or structure in a capital, the indigents or the traditional authorities suffer. And so we will always have to strive as a compromise where we can all arrive as a decision, where we can cooperate with each other, bring the peace, and make the country move forward. Cha no manyaba.